నేను నా డాక్టర్ ప్రొఫెషన్ రాజీనామా చేస్తాను.
పరీక్ష హాజరై విచారణ
Hello everybody, I hope I'm audible. Uh, One thing I never understood in this class, why you guys write good evening? It's not evening, right? It's still afternoon. But anyway, there's no point of writing good evening and good afternoon or good morning unless you have some real question. But it's still good afternoon, it's not evening. It's only 4 o'clock and everybody is in India, so it's still afternoon. Yeah, right. Now please don't start writing good afternoon. So I will start my class. Today's class audible, right? Properly audible? Okay. So today's class is on Plant Variety Protection Act. That is another IP, you understand. Let me share the slide. Okay, so yeah. So Plant Variety Protection and Farmers' Right Act, this is a single act. Okay, it's not like I'm teaching you Plant Variety Protection Act and another Farmers' Right Act. That is not the case. This is one single act, and this is one IP. Last class somebody was asking me about plant patent. So this is the same thing that is there in the US and they call it plant patent. We don't call like that. We just have the Plant Variety Protection Act. We don't call it plant patent. If you are still confused, I'm just clarifying that. So if there is any biological resources used in your IP, when you are generating the IP, if you have used any kind of biological resource, you can have three types of IP that India will give. Please stop sharing your screen. So you can have three types of IP: patents or plant variety protection or geographical indication. So when in your IP biological resources are used, you can have one invention and for that you can apply for patent. Or you have one plant related thing, one new variety you have developed, so you can opt for the plant variety protection. That's a completely different IP, so you are not going for patent, you are going for plant variety protection. Or else there is a different scenario, you will have the geographical indication class separately. So there you can see that if you have developed something with some plant varieties, you can get one geographical indication also. So basically when you have biological resources, by the way, people over there who are not from bioscience background, biological resource means anything that is a living species on this planet. We will call that biological resource. So it can be plant, it can be animal, and anything. But if it is plant, we can go for plant variety protection also. If you keep on sharing your screen, so my screen will go away and it will disturb you only, not me. So I can take the class later again, and class will go on and on. So that's the problem for you, not for me. Okay, so these are the predominant IP protection in India. What is the background of this act, this Plant Variety Protection Act that we are talking about today? So in 1900, there was Green Revolution in second part of 1900, year 1900. Okay, So green revolution came, expansion of irrigation infrastructure and modernization of management techniques was brought, and then distribution of hybridized seeds, fertilizers and pesticides came to farmers. Then in 1980s, rise and boom of biotech industries, and then recombinant DNA, genetic engineering, all these things came into the picture after 1980s. So when you see how this act came, I'm just giving you the history. So in TRIPS, if you remember, TRIPS was trade related aspects of intellectual property rights. TRIPS, we talk about TRIPS when we talk about any kind of IP in the world. So there is an article in TRIPS, that's 27.3b of TRIPS, that gives the states means the countries that have signed the TRIPS agreement, that's called states. They will have three options. So the TRIPS agreement said the countries that are signing the agreement can have three kinds of options to protect their plant varieties. First, you go for patent. Next, you can go for sui generis system. I have already told you what is sui generis. That means a specific dedicated system for that act. So you can go for patent also, the way US gives plant patent, or you can have sui generis system also, the way we did plant variety protection, or you can have a combination also. There is a combination, you can just decide upon like which part will be plant patent and which part will be sui generis system, like that. But it's very clearly distinct in case of India and US. The first one will be for US plant patent, the second one will be for India sui generis system, the one we are talking about today. Okay. This UPOV convention is something related to plant variety in the world, but India is not a signatory to that. So UPOV convention was signed in 1961. You might be asking then why I am giving these slides for you, because in all the IPs I was showing you some international agreement from where the IPs came and how the countries are connected with each other, like that. So I'm giving this UPOV also here, but India is not a part of that. So UPOV was signed in 1961 and then it was modified in 1972, 78, 91. This is the first international treaty protecting plant varieties. So that's why it might be important. What is UPOV? The International Union for the Protection of New Varieties of Plants. This is based in Geneva, Switzerland, established in 1961. Here it's already written. Then by the International Convention for the Protection of New Varieties of Plants. This is called the UPOV Convention. If anyone is interested among you, you can just click on the link and go to that website. Okay, this is the full form of UPOV, because you can see on top when I said that International Union for the Protection of New Varieties of Plants, it's not actually corresponding to that short form UPOV. It's not corresponding because that is in Latin. Okay, so the way it was formed, that is actually Union Internationale por la Protección das Obtención Vegetales. So that is the UPOV convention. That is the full form of UPOV. Okay, now I'm again wondering, because somebody was saying last time that I speak so fast that you are not able to follow. Am I speaking fast? So these are the member countries of UPOV. As I said, you can go to the link and see what are the member countries. On your screen also you can see the green ones are the member of UPOV. So you can see US, Canada, Russia, most of the European countries, Australia, some in the African countries, China, all these things are UPOV members, but the red things are not. And since they didn't mention, I'm confused about the yellow thing, but they are still not. So there might be some act regarding UPOV that they might have colored as red, and there is nothing, so they might not have colored, and they kept it as yellow. So India is not a part, as I said. So basically, when UPOP, you are thinking about UPOP, they will just talk about, see here, the full form is Protection of New Varieties of Plants. So in that act, that's not an act, that's a convention, that's not an act. So in that convention, they talk just about plant variety protection, that's it. But India being an agricultural country, our so many people are associated with agriculture, and so here in India, giving the rights to farmers are also very important. It's very important in case of India, right? So we have the full act, the name is Plant Variety Protection and Farmers Rights Act, but in the UPOP convention it's not mentioned. The UPOP convention gives the right only to the breeders. Breeder means who breed those varieties, but not to the farmers. So we need farmers' right in those acts. So we designed our act like that, and we made it Plant Variety Protection and Farmers' Rights Act. So it's a bit different, and we are not signing up UPOP. However, there are some uh, pushing from the Europe regarding the free trade agreement. So they are trying to push India about taking this UPOP convention. Anyway, that's a different thing, but we are not signing it because we think the farmers' rights are very important. Protection system in India. So India adopted the sui generis system. As I said, that what was the system for India, because you can have patent also and you can have sui generis system also. So India adopted the sui generis system. Let me see if anything was there in chat or not. Nothing. Who is playing the video? Some noise is coming. Okay, so there's nothing in chat. Uh, so the basic principles taken from UPOP 1978 were, so we took some of the principles from UPOP when we talked regarding the plant variety protection. The farmers' rights are different. So we took something from 1978. You can see here that it was changed in 1978. Look at the second line, 1978, it was changed. So we took some of the principles from the 1978 UPOP. Those were types of varieties, new and EDV. EDV means essentially derived varieties. And what are the registration criteria? New variety can be registered if it conforms to novelty, distinctiveness, uniformity, and stability. So when I was talking about Patent Act or any other act, remember every time I told you about some criteria, there should be some criteria to get that IP. For patent, does anybody remember what were those criteria? I have told you some 50 times those patentability criteria. Does anybody remember? Let me wait for a minute in chat. I don't think anybody remembers. I have told you some 50 times about the patentability criteria. There are 3 criteria for getting a patent. Just like that, there are a few criteria to get plant variety production also in India. So those are novelty, distinctiveness, uniformity, and stability. So these are 4 criteria. The way patent has 3 criteria, here we have 4. N, D, U, S. So N for novelty, D for distinctiveness, U for uniformity, and S for stability. Other varieties should conform to DUS. So if the variety is not a new variety, then it should satisfy the criteria of DUS, because I told NDUS. So if it is not new, novelty is not there, DUS you have to satisfy. Okay. Somebody is typing something in Telugu. If somebody can translate it in English, it will be helpful. Okay, so as I told you, that these are the requirements for protection. Okay. Right, right. Okay, so these are the four criteria I told: new, distinct, uniform, and stability. So this might come in your exam. You have exam, right? Next Thursday. So now we will define these terms. Distinctness first. The variety is distinct if it is clearly distinguishable from any other variety whose existence is a matter of common knowledge. Don't be worried about these terminologies in law. In law, we love to talk about, we love to complicate matters. I don't know why, but we talk like this. Actually, we make things so much clear so that if there is an opposition, if there is a suit, if there is a lawsuit in any court, they will analyze this definition only, and based on this definition only, it will be decided whether the person has infringed or not this uh, this act. Or in this case, distinctiveness, if somebody is saying this IP does not have distinctness, so you have to go to the definition and see whether there is any word that is missing from the expression of that IP of that plant variety that has been registered. So the definitions are very important in case of legal things, in case of all legal subjects, and for the court to interpret it. Okay, so that's why it is mentioned like this really big one, but it is just saying that whatever is there, whatever common knowledge is there, if it is different than that, this just means like that. But it's written in that language because this is not my language, this is the language from the book, from the act. Then uniformity, here see distinct and uniform. So we have talked about distinct, and then this is uniformity. A variety is deemed to be uniform if, subject to the variation that may be expected from the particular feature of its propagation, it is sufficiently uniform in the expression of the relevant characteristics. So there will be some characteristics. If you guys are from bio background, you will be able to understand the expression characteristics, right? So that will be uniform. So like that, we will call that uniformity. Then stability. A variety is deemed to be stable if the expression of its characteristics remains unchanged after repeated propagation, or in case of a particular cycle of propagation at the end of each such cycle. So the expression is stable. In order to satisfy the stability requirement, the variety's features must remain stable even after reproduction and subsequent multiplication. So when you multiply it for a few times, still the characteristics remains stable, or the expression remains still stable. So that will be the criteria. And the last one is novelty. Novelty, you already know about it. Novelty is just new. We call it novelty. New means novel, right? Newness, we call it novelty. So a variety is deemed to be new if before the application of this IP, before the IP application, it has not been sold or otherwise disposed of to others. Sorry, to others for the purpose of exploitation of the variety. So if it has not been sold, so it will be called as new. TRIPS Agreement 1994, they said that patents should be made available to all technology areas subject to condition, and plant variety protection can have either patents or sui generis protection. We already talked about it. So how do the countries they comply with the TRIPS agreement? They have to do some amendment in their patent laws in those countries. So, but when this was introduced, there were serious concerns raised for the public domain, because access to the seed material for farmers, how the farmers get the access to medicine, access to medical treatment, access to plant and animal germplasm. So these were the concerns that were raised at that time. So implementation of this plan, Protection of Plant Variety and Farmers' Rights Act, it came in 2001 in India. How it came? The authority was established in 2005. Crops were notified for registration from 2006. Applications submitted for registration from 2007. DUS means again distinct uniform and stability guidelines were prepared and testing centers were established. So just the way when you file a patent application, the patent examiner sitting at the patent office will examine it. But here they have DUS testing center because you have to test the propagation of these plants, right? So they have testing centers, they have proper fully equipped laboratories spread across all over India. Mostly these are ICAR laboratory. Uh, so many other different laboratories are also there that has been recognized under this act. So there are testing center. It is not just, it goes to the patent office and you get something sitting at the table. It's not like that. It has to be done. The experiments needs to be done. So after processing, the certificates will be issued, and they started to issue the certificate from 2009. 22 agro biodiversity hotspots were identified in India. Then the rules came in 2012. I have told you in all the act there will be some rules, so you have to read the act along with the rule. Then you understand the whole scenario. And recognition and rewards from the gene fund, those things were included in the rules also. So they have also included award, reward and recognition. They give it annually to the farmers and the farming community for their contribution in conservation of PGR, that is plant genetic resources. So as I told you that in India farmers are very important, so farmers' rights are included in the act itself. This is the cover page of the act. That is just the book I have. It can be from any publisher. So you can see the Plant Protection of Plant Variety and Farmers' Rights Act 2001. The way the question was important in case of Patent Act, in which year it came, 1970. So for this it is 2001. You may need to remember. So the act was passed by the Indian Parliament in 2001 and the rule were notified by the Department of Agriculture. Now they have changed the name to Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare in 2003. They didn't change the name in 2003. I mean the rules came in 2003. They just changed the name. I'm not sure when they changed the name. Objective of this act: to provide an effective system for protection of plant varieties and rights of farmers and plant breeders, to recognize the farmers in respect of their contribution made at conserving, improving and making available of plant genetic resources for development of new plant varieties, to protect plant breeders' right to stimulate investment in research and development and develop new varieties, to facilitate the growth of seed industry, to ensure production and availability of high quality seed, and planting material also. What is a plant variety? So I have been talking about the Plant Variety Protection Act. So what is a plant variety? A group of plants together belonging to a known botanical species or subspecies will be known as plant variety, which can be defined by the expression of the characteristics resulting from a given genotype of the group of plants, distinguished from any other group of plants on the basis of difference in the expression by at least one of the characteristics, considered as a unit. So I told you it should be uniform, so it should be considered as a unit with regard to its suitability for being propagated, which remains unchanged after such propagation. You can see on your right, these are few of the brinjal example, but you see the colors are different. So like 1, 2, 3, 4 types of brinjals are there. So these are new varieties. Okay. Uh, why IP protection is given to plant varieties? There are some economic benefit and then health benefit and then environmental benefit. Economic benefit is new varieties with improved yields lead to reduction in price of end products. If it is improved yield, the price will be reduced, right? New varieties with improved quality lead to higher value products. Health benefit is improved nutritional content. Environmental benefit is new varieties which can be disease resistant. So if there is one like cotton plant and they might be infected with some worm and you genetically modify it, and so that the next time the worm cannot infect it. So those will be disease resistant plant. So you can register those things. Here also you can see lots of bananas. It's like 1, 2, 3 colors are there, right? Or 4, I don't know. Anyway, so how is IP protection given to new plant varieties? Protection is by registration of the new variety. So you have to apply for the registration. Registration is given to breeders who develop the new variety. Breeders get exclusive rights to produce, sell, market, import, export their registered variety. So in all the IP Act, you will see that there are specific rights mentioned in the Act that those people get who are the owners of that IP. Just like that here, the last line is the one, what are the exact rights that the breeder will get when they have it registered. What plant varieties can be registered in India? New variety, extant variety, some varieties notified under 1966 Seeds Act, farmers variety, variety of common knowledge, and essentially derived variety. I told you EDV, that is essentially derived variety. Duration of protection, uh, trees and vines, uh, total 18 years. First, it will be 9 years, and then you can extend it for another 9 years. Other crops for first 6 years, and then again you can extend it for next 9 years. And extant notified varieties, 15 from date of notification of varieties under the Seeds Act 1966 by the central government. So these are the duration of the protection. This is the way the patent is, the term of the patent is 20 years from the date of filing or priority. So this is 18 years for trees or vines. Benefit of registration, uh, it adds to the aesthetic value of a product, it increases the marketability of a product, provides an exclusive rights in the market, establishes a better license position. So there are so many benefits of the registration. On your right you can see there are different seeds. We have different names for that. I think these seeds will be available in every country. We call it by different names. So example of extant varieties registered under this act, you can see on your screen. I'm not going to read it out. So, there are several varieties that are extant varieties and that have been registered in India. Varieties protectable under this act, as I told you, new variety, the criteria should be NDUS. I told you just few slides ago, if it is a new variety, then NDUS all will be there. If it is not a new variety, remove N and keep DUS, right? So these are the criteria for registration, and the duration also you can see initially 9 years and then total 18, and then for crops it's for first 6 and then 9, so total 15. So I have told you these things. And extant variety is 15 years from the date of notification of that variety by the central government under section 5 of the Seeds Act 1966. So this is the continuation of this one. I told you about new variety and extant variety. Then we have farmers variety also and essentially derived varieties also. So these are some of the criticism about this act, that how it provides the clarity about the term of that IP or the criteria, things like that. So here the criticism is about farmers variety, that rights granted are unclear and the duration are unclear. So you can just go through it if you guys are interested. If you are from this related like branches, so you might find it interesting. If you are not related, you might find it really and really boring. I'm sorry about that. Then there is something called National Gene Fund. National Gene Fund is constituted by Government of India under Section 45 of the Plants Variety Act. So in this act itself, you can see under Section 45, it has been mentioned about National Gene Fund. The fund is also utilized for supporting the conservation and sustainable use of genetic resources, including in situ and ex situ collections. If you guys are not from bio, I won't expect you guys to understand in situ and ex situ. Just understand that it's about conservation and sustainable use of genetic resources. Who is a farmer? This might be quite a boring question for you, but this is really interesting. Under this act, anybody can be a farmer. A farmer is not just the one who is working at the I don't know what you call it, the farm, the field, who is not just working in the field, but anybody can be a farmer. I can be a farmer. You can be a farmer if you read it. So, who is a farmer according to this act? Who cultivates crops by cultivating the land itself, like the traditional farmer. He is the farmer. Then cultivates crops by directly supervising the cultivation or land through any other person. So this guy is not doing it, giving it for, I don't know, maybe he's giving it on lease or doing something. So he will still be considered as a farmer. However, look at the third line. The person who conserves and preserves severally or jointly with any person any wild species or traditional varieties or adds value to such wild species or traditional varieties through selection and identification of their useful properties will also be called as farmer. So if I am the guy and I am trying to conserve some species found in this campus, in this Andhra University campus. I found some species and I'm trying to conserve it. I'm trying to, make some sustainable use out of that genetic resources. So I will be called a farmer under this act, right? So in that way, this definition is a bit interesting. What is a farmer's variety? Something that has been traditionally cultivated in cultivation prior to the introduction of the varieties from modern plant breeding intervention and are evolved by selection made in existing traditional variety population by the farmers in their field. So whatever the farmers are growing will be called as farmer's variety, and is a wild relative or land race or a variety about which the farmers possess the common knowledge. So the farmers have the traditional knowledge about that variety. So those varieties will be called as farmers variety. Then as I said that we have something very specific that is very special to India, that we have farmers rights included in the Plant Variety Protection Act. So they have the rights to sow, to resow, exchange, share, sell their farm produce of a registered variety. So they can register the variety and they can do all these steps. Right to register farmers variety, definitely. Then recognition and reward they will get for conservation of that variety. Benefit sharing if farmers donate the plant genetic resources to develop new variety. So if it and commercially generating some money out of it. So uh, this farmer will get the benefit sharing from that commercial benefit, whatever the lab is generating. Then information about expected performance of a variety and compensation if the variety fails to perform. So compensation also they can get if the variety is not performing well. So there are several things that the Indian government uh, has included in the farmers' right in the Plant Variety Protection Act, because this is a agriculture-based society country. Who can apply for the registration of plant variety? Any person claiming to be the breeder of the variety. So if any of these things match with you, you can apply for it. Any successor of the breeder of the variety. So if you're not the breeder but the successor, you can still apply for it. Any person being the assignee of the breeder, being the assignee or the breeder of the variety in respect of which the right to make such application has been generated. So as you know, like in all other IP acts, if you are the creator or if you are the assignee. So here also if you are the breeder or successor of the breeder or the assignee, then any farmer or group of farmers or community of farmers claiming to be the breeder of the variety. Any person authorized to make the application on behalf of farmers if the farmers have authorized some other person to apply for that. So that they can also do that. Any university or publicly funded agricultural institution claiming to be the breeder of the variety. So any institution or university who has got this plant, some botany, I'm not sure, maybe some botany or biotech department who are breeding some variety, new variety, so they can also apply it. So the applicant will be the university name or the research institution name where you can apply. Why this is important? Because when we are talking about all the IP acts, there are fixed patent offices in India. But in case of Plant Variety Protection Act, you don't apply to the patent office. There are different offices. So there is the head office that is in New Delhi. Office of Registrar, PPV means Protection of Plant Variety, FRA means Farmers' Rights Act. So there is Office of Registrar under this act that is situated in New Delhi. Then we have branch offices in Ranchi, Guwahati, Palampur, Pune, and Shivamogga. So these are the offices, and this is the head office of that to apply for that IP. There are DUS centers, as I told you. So when I will give you these slides, you can, if you are interested, you can go to this link and see how many DUS testing centers are there. And you know, they have separated it out also. For example, if you have some rice variety, uh, so there are some specific labs where you can apply for those, those DUS testing center will test the rice variety, but they may not test the maize variety. There will be some certain specific centers for maize separately, and wheat, you know, so many other things. So they have identified things like that. So this is the whole list of DUS centers in India. These centers have been identified provisionally by the DUS testing, for the DUS testing by the authority. So they should have proper equipment and proper lab setup so that they can test all these things. So they will actually judge whether this has got the criteria in the US or not. So based on their decision only, the rights will be given. So you need proper laboratories for that. But please remember, when you have one patent, there is no lab associated to test it. Just the patent examiner sitting in front of a computer will decide it. There is no laboratory involved, no examination involved. This is just a case that is related to Patent and Plant Variety Act in India. So this was Monsanto Technology LLC versus Nuzivedu Seeds, Nuzivedu and others. In all cases, you will see ORS. ORS is just others. They type it like that. So the thing was the patent that it was expired at that time on process by which the gene criteria, some gene was there from the bacterium Bacillus thuringiensis introduced in the cotton genome to produce protein that saved the crop from bollworm caterpillar. So as I told you that if there is some cotton plants are, I guess they are susceptible to this bollworm disease. Bollworm, some worm will be there, they will eat that crop maybe. So these people, what they did, they did some cloning and took out this Bacillus thuringiensis gene. The gene name is Cryptobacter and inserted it into the genome of cotton genome. They inserted it. Who inserted it? This Monsanto Technology. They are lab, they are research groups, all they are doing these things. So Indian cotton seed companies have accepted to pay the trial fee to Monsanto to use it. Those kinds of cotton plants, they will use it, Indian cotton seed company. Okay, but Nuzivedu sees the challenge in 2017, the validity of the patent after a row over the fee to be paid, because Nuzivedu was also one licensee, but they had some disagreement with this Monsanto and they actually challenged the patent in 2017. The issue was whether genetically engineered seeds are excluded from the patentability under Section 3J of Indian Patent Act or not. So when I was talking about the Patent Act, I told you there is Section 3 that has got that tells you the non-patentable subject matters in India. Under that, the subsection J, Section 3J, it talks about plants and animals in parts or whole. Those things cannot be patented. So here what they are doing, they are patenting something. So these guys challenged it on the basis of Section 3J. So the ground was Section 3J of Indian Patent Act, and Nuzivedu Seeds challenged the validity of the patent of Monsanto Technology in 2017. You have to remember one thing, that the Protection of Plant Variety and Farmers' Rights Act 2001 grants IPR to plant breeders in India, and accordingly, the material in the public domain can be used by anyone without the fear of infringement, and consequently, it differs from UPOP provision in this regard. So, regarding the plant variety protection also it differs, and I have already told you the farmers' right protection is not even there in the UPOP because they don't bother about it, but we bother because we are agriculture dependent countries. So actually it's a lot different than UPOP. So that is the point to remember, and thank you. So it's already 4:45. Is there any question? Or I have this also for you if you don't want a question. Huh. I'm so sorry. Yes. Hmm. Right. Yeah, so I got the same thing. Uh, Apart from good evening, Sudhir Kumar, you need to explain the topic. Wait a minute, I'm confused. So many things are there. Oh, okay. Okay. So anybody else has got any question? This is about one IP, that is plant variety protection, and the criteria is NDUS, and then your examination will be on 15th. Then the term also. So I'll be sharing the slides so you can see it from there. Terms are different for different types of plants. For trees, it's 18 years. For crops, it's 15 years, like that. So when I'll be sharing the slide, you can see it from there. It's 15th. The next class, you will have your assessment. 15th December, right? Right. Just a moment, I got some confusion. Yeah, that is इनका इनका कब है? कुछ भी नहीं है. Okay. Okay. Hey, I'm so sorry about it. The exam is not there for you guys probably, and there will be some final exam that will be decided later. So now there is nothing to worry about. I got confused regarding some other class. Yeah, so you are happy. Anything else? You're welcome. You have got the attendance link also, right? So, which one? Next class? No, no, no. I'm really sorry about confusing you guys. There is no exam. There is no exam. Uh, you will be told. No, 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 no. I'm really sorry. You will be told. There is one schedule, right? You want me to share it? Oh, we can share it in the group again. The schedule of the classes, like that. So there you can see about the exam on anything. I'm really sorry, but I was taking another class and I got confused about their exam and your exam. So you don't have any exam. You are from what, Ganesh, Mr. Ganesh? You are from which branch? First of all, I want to mention that organic what? Organic chemistry. So first of all, I wanted to mention that IPR is a booming topic right now. So anybody from any field can jump right into the IPF field and make your career in the IP. So that is one option. Other than that, another option is uh, why I said about taking the IP thing as your career, because uh, nowadays IP system is booming in India. Okay, so IP system is booming in India, and there are a lot and lot, really lots of jobs are there in India regarding this IP, and there are so many things, uh, you patent, you can, attendance link is not opening. Is that true? So many other people are also doing it, right? Um, so what I can tell you about, yeah, so there is one aspect that you can take IP as your career, or you, if you generate one IP and you are not aware about it, so you can file your own IP and the university will be the applicant or the owner. The university will take care of all the fees associated with the IP filing, prosecution and maintenance. So in that way also it can be useful for you. These are all for somebody who asked me how this course is useful. The name was Ganesh, maybe. Organic. You said organic. These are for you. And for everybody else. So you guys are from master degree, right? So if you are finishing your master degree class also, you can, I mean master degree course also, so you can go to IP field. Actually, our department also takes PhD students for IP, PhD in IP. So if you are interested in PhD, otherwise, you just, there are several routes. If anybody is interested, you can just come to us and we can explain all these things, how it can be important. Allah Bonu Hanuma, give me attendance. How can I give you the link? The attendance link was pasted, right? I will copy it and paste it again. So, yeah, anything else? What is the time? 4:52. Okay, anything else? Just 2-3 minutes, then we can wrap this class up. Yeah, so I will also leave. Thank you for joining me today, and you got your attendance link. Okay then, bye from me.